here forever. Maybe he will love me.
The second her words faded, she used all her strength and shoved me hard off the cliff. A shrilling alarm blared abruptly, yanking me out of the deadly nightmare. I jolted upright in bed, soaked head to toe in cold sweat. Hot tears streamed down my cheeks nonstop.
You've been screaming. Are you okay?
I lifted my hands to touch my wet face and struggled to steady my frantic breathing. For 5 long years, I had lived under the fake name Nara, and I never understood why I lost my identity until this moment. Every shattered memory finally flooded back to me.
Your memories, are they back?
I nodded slowly, too shaken to form a single word. Cassandra, my dearest best friend, the person I once would have sacrificed everything for. She tried to kill me out of jealousy over a man, a career opportunity, and her hatred of my success. What shocked me even more was that I suddenly recalled I had a young daughter. I have a child, Roman. I have a daughter. I just woke up, and I couldn't even remember her at all. Panic twisted my heart. I had no idea where my daughter Lily was, nor who was taking care of her. But there was no doubt in my mind who had pushed me off the cliff years ago. Roman warned me ahead of time that the truth would crush me. He told me bluntly that Nathan, the man I once loved, was now married. I ended the call, my hands trembling with mixed pain and anger. I picked out the most elegant evening gown from my wardrobe and dressed up, forcing myself to attend a luxurious grand gala. The venue was crowded and dazzling, just as I expected. Roman waited for me at the bottom of the entrance steps, his gaze locked on me the second I appeared.
You look beautiful.
His tone was sincere and gentle, and I almost reached out to grasp his hand for comfort. Just then, the bustling crowd parted, and my gaze froze on Nathan. He stood tall and neatly dressed, with one arm tightly wrapped around a woman wearing a striking golden gown. She had familiar green eyes and a cold, fake smile. It was Cassandra. Those same hands that pushed me towards death on the cliff now held my own daughter Lily in a loving embrace. Lily had chestnut hair and bright blue eyes, the exact same eyes as mine.
Mummy, can I get some ice cream?
She tilted her head up and spoke to Cassandra naturally. Lily never turned her head to glance at me. She looked up at Cassandra with complete, innocent trust, her tiny fingers clutching the golden fabric of the dress tightly. Cassandra pinched Lily's cheeks and laughed loudly, drawing soft coos from every guest around them. At that sight, my heart shattered into pieces completely. 6 years had passed. The woman who attempted to murder me had stolen everything I cherished. Roman stepped forward and rested a supporting hand on my lower back, staying silent. His quiet comfort was the only thing holding me from collapsing on the spot. I turned away, unable to bear watching my child shower affection on my enemy any longer. Lily's fingers still clung to the golden dress, and she never once looked in my direction. Nathan spotted me in the crowd instantly. A storm of emotions swept across his face. First shock, then overwhelming sorrow. He hurried over and grabbed my hand firmly. Reporters and cameras swarmed us at once, flashing bright lights continuously, while the crowd pushed closer to watch the scene.
Vivian, is this really you? We thought you were dead.
I opened my mouth, determined to shout out the whole truth to everyone present. I was pushed. I was almost killed. Before I could finish my sentence, Cassandra let out a sharp, dramatic scream. She stumbled sideways and collapsed on the floor, both hands clutching her stomach as if in terrible pain. The entire crowd rushed toward her immediately. She lifted her head, eyes wide and tearful, putting on a perfect act of being wronged. Vivian, I'm sorry. I know you're angry. I know what I took from you. Her performance was flawless. I watched Sippy flood every face around me in an instant. Whispers, people called me a gold digger, claimed I was mentally unstable, and accused me of returning to destroy a happy family. Nathan rushed to Cassandra's side right away. Lily struggled violently in his arms and shouted at the top of her voice. I stood just a step away from my daughter, close enough to touch her, yet my limbs felt heavy and powerless. I could not move an inch.
Stay away from us! Why do you want to hurt my mom?
My throat tightened painfully, and I could barely breathe. I tried to yell out the truth again, but every camera in the room focused solely on Cassandra's tear-streaked face. No one was willing to listen to me. Roman stood close beside me, a silent pillar of support. Who would ever believe what truly happened on that cliff? The next morning, major newspapers blasted headlines branding me as reckless and unhinged. By 7 o'clock, Cassandra appeared on a live TV interview. She wore a pale silk blouse and spoke in a soft, mournful voice, pretending to forgive my actions.
Our little one is gone.
The interviewer wept openly for her on camera. I grabbed the remote and switched off the television. Roman advised me to stay calm, gather solid evidence, and keep quiet until I had proof to expose the truth. Still, I made up my mind to meet Cassandra at a private restaurant. The grieving mask she wore on TV was completely gone. She sat at the table with cold, ruthless eyes, and a large leather bag lay on the table right in front of her. I sat down across for her, and she immediately slid the heavy bag towards me. That's $1 billion. Take it and disappear. Leave Nathan and Lily alone, and I can guarantee you will see tomorrow. Is that a threat? Call it whatever helps you sleep. She leaned back in her chair, lacing her fingers together, looking utterly relaxed and confident. I know your memories have fully returned. Whatever Roman Valerius offers you, I can triple it. Walk away, for your sake, and for the sake of your daughter. Cassandra stood up, smoothed her tailored jacket, picked up her purse, and prepared to leave. You have until Friday. She walked out of the restaurant without a single backward glance. I sat alone, staring at the bag of money on the table, and finally realized her real intention. This was never a simple bribe. She made it clear that she would use Lily as a weapon against me. I felt helpless, not knowing how to protect my daughter from the woman who had raised her for 6 years.
I ordered Taylor to tail Vivian without hesitation. I knew her recovered memories would make her act recklessly and put herself in danger. I could hear every word she said through a delicate necklace I gave her a month ago. I knew invading her privacy was wrong, but I had long stopped feeling guilty about it. I walked into the company's boardroom, where 24 board members were already waiting. They all shared one single malicious agenda. Tyler was the first to speak up, his tone firm and hostile. She has to go, Roman. We can't have this kind of scandal attached to the company.
Next, Roland rose to his feet, claiming Vivian's position was a huge conflict of interest and a terrible mistake from the very start. I let him finish his entire speech in silence. You want to remove a hardworking CEO who grew 2 subsidiaries by 30% in just 14 months? All because a woman staged a fake fall at our gala? Not a single person dared to speak after my words. The room fell dead silent. If this removal motion moves forward, I will personally review every contract and every appointment made at this table over the past 3 years. Every one of you holds your position by appointment, just like she does. I buttoned my suit jacket and headed for the door. At that moment, my phone rang. It was Taylor, and his voice was tense and panicked before he even spoke a word.
Boss, there was a violent incident outside a hotel on 5th Avenue. She took a heavy blow to the head. She's been taken to Meridian Hospital, and the doctors say her condition is critical.
The boardroom and its arguments vanished from my mind instantly. All I cared about was Vivian's safety.
The doctors say she may have lost her most recent memories from the past few weeks, and possibly even longer.
I stood frozen in the corridor, deep in thought. Someone had tipped off the press in advance. I already knew exactly which 2 people had strong motives to hurt Vivian. I sent a quick text to my investigator, then hurried to my car. Don't leave that hospital, Taylor.
I'm already inside, boss.
The sharp smell of medical antiseptic was the first thing I noticed when I regained consciousness. Then I saw a handsome man sitting beside my hospital bed, tears streaming down his face. I could feel that he meant a lot to me, yet I felt no familiarity toward him at all. I'm sorry. Who are you? I watched his face sink with sorrow. He quickly forced a weak smile to hide his pain.
It's Nathan. We were engaged. We have a daughter. Her name is Lily. She's 6 years old.
The word daughter struck a raw chord inside my heart. Nathan stayed by my bedside for 40 minutes, holding my hand tightly the whole time, his eyes constantly watering. I let him do as he wished, for I had no way to explain to this stranger that his grief could not reach my cold heart. Roman arrived shortly after. He spoke just 2 short sentences, and everyone else in the room left immediately. 3 days later, I found a tablet placed beside my bed. My own face stared back at me on the screen, covered in harsh news headlines. They labeled me unstable, unhinged, and a greedy gold digger. Before I could finish reading the cruel headlines, the hospital room door swung open. My mother walked in, with my father following closely behind her.
We came to take you home. You've embarrassed this family enough.
3 nurses with her, and a signed discharge form was already fully prepared.
Please leave. Vivian! Please, leave.
Roman appeared in the doorway, with several police officers standing behind him. Faced with the officers, my parents had no choice but to leave. After they departed, I flipped the tablet face down on the nightstand and fixed my gaze on Roman. You're hiding secrets about Nathan and about everything that happened over the last 2 weeks.
Go back to sleep, Vivian.
The glowing headlines were still visible under the tablet. I made up my mind that I would never stop asking questions until I uncovered the whole truth. While Lily sat at the dining table, singing happily and carefreshly, my phone buzzed on the tabletop. It was a message from Aiden, telling me Nathan had visited Vivian at the hospital again and cried bitterly on his way out. He cried for Vivian every single day, and it filled me with rage. I set down my phone and stared at Lily's bright blue eyes. A cold resolve formed in my mind. If I wanted to keep Lily by my side forever, Vivian had to disappear for good this time. The hospital ward fell completely quiet after 11 o'clock at night. I heard the door creak open and lifted my head, expecting to see Roman walk in. But the footsteps were strange, slow and cautious, as if the intruder was trying their hardest not to wake me. I turned my head and saw a woman standing at the foot of my bed. She wore dark clothing, and a cold chill rushed through my chest the moment I recognized her identity. You just don't want to die, do you? She snatched the pillow out from under my head in one swift move. I reached for the emergency call button beside the bed, but she was far faster. She pressed the thick pillow hard over my face, and everything turned white and blurry. In a flash, my mind flashed back to the terrifying cliff scene. Cold wind howled around me, and I felt her hands press onto my shoulders once more. If you disappear forever, maybe he will love me. I relived the feeling of my right foot slipping off the empty cliff edge. I snapped back to the present in an instant. The woman's weight still crushed my face, and I struggled fiercely. I knew exactly who my attacker was now. Since she's come to me voluntarily, don't blame me for being ruthless. My fingers finally found the emergency button, and I pressed it down with all my strength. The weight on my face vanished instantly. I heard rapid footsteps. Then a nearby window was pushed open wide. Cassandra escaped through the window and fled into the night. I could have told Roman the attacker's name, but I knew he would chase after Cassandra without hesitation. Lily is still in that woman's hands. I can't act rashly, so I chose to keep the truth hidden for the time being. I lied to the doctors, telling them I never got a clear look at my attacker's face. It was the smoothest lie I had told in weeks. Roman saw right through my deception and did not believe a single word.
Whoever this person is, they will not stop until you are dead. You need to describe them to the police.
Drop it.
Vivian.
I said drop it. You've been hiding things from me for weeks. Why does my attacker matter more than all the secrets you refuse to tell?
I watched Roman's jaw clench tightly with frustration. He stayed dead silent, and the awkward tension in the air was far more uncomfortable than a heated argument. On the day I was discharged from the hospital, Nathan waited for me in the doorway, holding a beautiful bouquet of fresh roses.
I thought maybe we could get lunch. Just somewhere quiet?
Roman's expression turned displeased, and he immediately stepped in front of me. I'd like that. Give me a day and then yes.
And Lily, I was thinking, let's let things develop between us first. When the emotions settle, then she can meet you properly.
Nathan wanted to build a relationship with me before letting me meet my own daughter, and I could not explain why it felt so wrong. I sat in the car and stared out the window for a long while. I turned to Roman and spoke in a firm tone. Don't send Taylor after us. I mean it. I found a handwritten note tucked between the rose stems. It read, looking forward to tomorrow. A bitter doubt lingered in my mind. What did this man truly want from me when the first thing he chose to hold back was access to my own child? I made it clear to Roman not to send anyone to follow Nathan and me. But he had already hacked into this car and installed a tracking device before I got in. They started tracking Nathan's car the moment it pulled out of the driveway. We dined in an elegant restaurant. Nathan paid close attention to me throughout the meal, acting warm and considerate.
How are you managing all 3 subsidiaries? I've always known you were smart, but this is something else.
He kept firing questions at me nonstop about my recovery progress, my ability to handle full workloads, and whether Roman had changed my job responsibilities. I thought to myself, the hell is it to you? Cassandra pushed me off that cliff. I need you to believe me.
Vivian, she was your best friend. If something like that had happened, I would have known.
Bright camera flashes suddenly lit up the restaurant windows. A group of photographers had been lying in wait outside the whole time. Nathan lifted me into his arms and carried me into a private elevator, and every photographer captured the entire scene. The next morning, a secret recording of our private dinner conversation spread across every social platform and news site. My phone rang, and I knew immediately it was Cassandra.
This is your final warning. Stop talking about the mountain. Stop involving Nathan. Think of your daughter.
Okay. I heard you. Was there anything else? I had a board meeting to attend in 40 minutes, and I was completely done fearing her threats. I have a meeting now. I don't have time to listen to dogs barking. I hung up the phone and told Taylor to drive me to company headquarters. When all 12 board members took their seats, I opened the first file before anyone could utter a word. 104 projects across 3 subsidiaries in 3 years. 103 completed on time within budget, 37 of them significantly under budget. I slid a second stack of records across the table toward them. I also pulled your individual records. The average success rate across this table is 46%. I locked eyes directly with Rodin. Yours specifically is 39. A heavy silence fell over the entire room. No one dared to make a sound. You called a meeting to remove a CEO whose record is objectively better than the collective record of the people calling for her removal. If you want to defend that to the shareholders, I encourage you to read the communications guidelines first. Then we can put it to a formal vote and it becomes public record. Tyler opened his mouth to argue, but I spoke over him first. Or we can talk about the actual work. No one brought up removing me ever again. I closed my laptop, handed it to Priya, and walked out of the boardroom with steady steps. Roman stood in the corridor outside. He had been watching for quite a while. He stayed quiet at first.
You handled that.
I put them in their place.
I turned and walked toward the elevator.
I'll have my driver.
Nathan is picking me up, and this time I'm bringing Cassandra's recorded threat as proof. The elevator doors slid closed between us. I could see Roman's jaw tighten through the glass panel. I put on my clothes and grabbed my handbag, ready to leave, when Roman suddenly stepped forward and blocked the doorway completely.
You are not going to dinner with Nathan Holt. Not tonight.
He hasn't given me a reason not to trust him. You're just jealous and you need to admit it.
I'm not jealous. I'm the only person who has been telling you the truth.
Roman walked across the room quickly, cupped my face with both hands, and kissed me deeply. I should have pushed him away, but my body refused to move. He stepped back slowly.
Nathan was there that night. On the mountain. I have the footage.
He held out his smartphone. I played the surveillance video 3 times in a row, memorizing every frame. The footage showed Nathan walking out from the tree line right after Cassandra ran away. He walked straight to the cliff edge and stared down at the spot where I had fallen. He stood there for exactly 12 long seconds. After that, lit a cigarette and strolled back towards the campsite without a single trace of guilt. I handed the phone back to Roman without saying a word. Roman waited patiently for my reaction. If anything happens to Nathan before I decide how to punish him, I will make your life very difficult. Roman nodded once in understanding. A painful question haunted me. How do you punish a man who watched you fall to your doom, then cried by your hospital bed later? 2 men carried several large cardboard boxes into my office ahead of Nathan. Inside were dozens of roses, shiny diamond bracelets, and glittering diamond earrings that sparkled brightly under the office lights. Priya's eyes widened in pure surprise at the expensive gifts. I gave her a clear order. The trash can beside the window. All of it. Nathan watched Priya carry out my order. A forced, uneasy smile lingered on his face.
You've been avoiding my calls.
I've been busy. Sit down, Nathan. We need to talk about Lily. His expression shifted instantly the moment I mentioned our daughter's name. I'm filing for full custody. My lawyer is already preparing the documents.
Vivian, you just came out of the hospital. The timing alone...
This is a notification, not a negotiation.
We can work something out. Shared access. There's no need to make this a war.
I waited silently for him to continue, and he soon revealed his true purpose.
My company has been struggling. If Valerius and I were to collaborate, even informally, you're in a position to make that happen.
Have your counsel contact mine by end of week. I picked up my bag and walked out of the office without glancing back, dazzling jewels as if mocking his sincere heart. Cassandra called me at 7 in the morning, screaming angrily about a series of fires at Nathan's properties.
People had families. Children will be left with nothing because of your petty revenge.
I had nothing to do with it, Cassandra. This isn't my style. I almost let out a cold laugh at her false accusation.
Then who? Who hates us enough to do this?
I hung up the phone and went to find Roman. He sat sturdily at his desk, his phone placed aside, completely motionless. Did you know about Nathan's companies before it was on the news?
I know about it now.
Roman. Roman held my gaze steadily for 3 full seconds before he answered.
Only 2 people were hurt. I made sure the buildings were fully evacuated before it happened.
The study fell into an icy silence. I told you not to act without me. I told you that specifically.
This wasn't about you. It was about making them doubt Nathan's ability to protect them, to pull their loyalty off him before the custody wedding.
2 people are in a hospital because of a decision you made without asking me. Roman did not offer an apology. He simply watched me turn and walk toward the door. Cassandra and Nathan both firmly believed I was behind the fires. I knew they would strike back against me before the custody hearing began. Worst of all, the man I might need the most was the one I had just argued with bitterly. I stepped into the conference room and saw 3 federal detectives already seated and waiting for me. Roman walked in 30 seconds later, stood quietly by the wall, and did not say a word. Miss Henderson, are you aware of the fire incidents that occurred at the 3 properties owned by Nathaniel Holt? I saw the news. Cassandra Holt has suggested you may have had motivation. Cassandra Holt is the subject of an active attempted murder complaint filed by me. I imagine that gives her significant motivation to point elsewhere. The detective jotted down my words in her notebook.
Where were you the night of the fires?
In this building until 10:30, then home. Mr. Valerius can confirm both, so can the building's cameras. My lawyer arrived 8 minutes into the questioning. As soon as my lawyer appeared, the detectives left with no evidence to charge me.
When I returned upstairs to my office, Priya had the television playing. Cassandra was hosting a live broadcast, speaking in a soft, glacial tone, and putting on a sorrowful act for 4 million watching viewers.
Suddenly, a woman in a dark blazer walked straight onto the live studio set. She was a court process server.
Cassandra Holt, you've been formally notified of a civil lawsuit for slander and defamation. The entire studio fell dead silent. The legal envelope landed on Cassandra's arm press. Cameras kept rolling, and bright stage lights stayed on. Tell legal I want every second of that broadcast preserved. Cassandra lost her public image and protective disguise in front of millions. I wondered how desperate and dangerous she would become next. Roman told me later that Nathan walked into the 42nd floor conference room with a confident posture. He had no idea what harsh truth awaited him. I let him sit down and speak his mind fully. Then I slid a formal contract across the wooden table towards him.
Full transfer of your subsidiaries to Valerius Holdings at current market price. An assigned withdrawal from the custody proceedings confirming Vivian's parental standing before the end of the month.
Those companies took me 15 years.
12. 3 of them were built on Henderson Capital after Vivian disappeared. You made her family believe they owed you something.
Nathan shot to his feet and accused me of extortion. I picked up my phone and delivered the final blow.
You were there, weren't you? That afternoon on the mountain, you watched Cassandra push her. And you walked away.
The color drained from Nathan's face. He froze completely. Outside on the courthouse steps, Cassandra positioned herself directly in front of every camera, posing confidently. We have absolutely nothing to hide. I am welcoming the press to Evering every submission. The truth speaks for itself. She faced the cameras with arrogant confidence. She had no knowledge of the Cliff surveillance footage yet. I could not help wonder what secret trick she thought would win her the case. At 9:15 that night, my phone rang emergently. It was Taylor.
Boss used the main exit. A man came from the left side of the pillar. Roman is down. I'm calling the ambulance. He told me to call Hank first, to find the name before anyone else does.
I rushed to the hospital immediately. When I arrived, Roman lay on an examination table, his shirt cut open, while a nurse treated his fresh wounds. He lifted his head and saw me.
You didn't have to.
Don't finish that sentence.
I sat beside him and stared at the blood pooling under the fluorescent lights. If Nathan had ordered this brutal attack, he would face far more severe consequences than I had originally planned. On the night before the critical final hearing, Cassandra came to my house all alone.
How much to end all of this? Just name your number.
There isn't one. I want my daughter back. That's the only bargain I'll make. Cassandra turned and left. I let her believe the room had no recording devices, but in truth, I captured every word she said. The next morning, the courtroom was louder and more chaotic than any previous session. Elena stood up to address the court formally.
The defense submits drone footage recovered from the hiking trail, timestamp and date independently verified by a forensic team. Credentials begin on page 42.
The footage played on the large courtroom screen, with no audio. Everyone watched clearly as Cassandra placed her hands on my shoulders and pushed me off the cliff. Nathan shot to his feet instantly.
She lied to me. 5 years she sat beside me and told me Vivian left on her own. I believed her.
He ran around the court table and dropped to his knees right in front of me.
Vivian, I'm sorry. I should never have stopped looking for you.
Elena gently touched my arm and spoke to Nathan firmly.
Sir, please return to your seat. The footage has not finished playing.
The second half of the footage began to play. It showed Nathan stepping out of the tree line, walking to the cliff edge, and looking down. He stood there for 12 seconds, then lit a cigarette and walked away. Cassandra stared at Nathan from across the room with a furious, betrayed expression I had never seen before. She grabbed her handbag and sprinted toward the side exit. I stood up at once. I knew she was heading straight for Lily's school to kidnap my daughter. Roman had warned me about this exact scenario 3 days earlier.
She'll go for Lily the moment the second footage plays. Stay in Elena's office. Watch the feed. Trust me.
I agreed to his plan. My legs trembled with fear, but I chose to trust him completely. Taylor called me soon after.
Dark sedan, false plates. She's approaching the entrance now.
I watched the school parking lot live feed on Elena's laptop. Cassandra walked toward the school gate, clutching her bag tightly. Looking confident enough that the guards were ready to let her pass. 2 of Roman's security team stepped forward to block her path. Cassandra froze, then pulled a stack of forged documents out of her bag. One guard took the papers without checking them carefully. Moments later, a police van pulled into the school grounds. Cassandra walked over and sat down on a low stone wall outside the school. She simply sat there, defeated, as if she had finally run out of every trick and escape route.
Lily is in her classroom. She doesn't know anything happened.
I pressed my hand firmly against my racing chest and took a deep breath to calm down.
We won.
The main entrance stood ahead of me, afternoon sunlight streaming through the glass doors, and Lily's classroom number marked clearly on the wall. For the first time in 6 long years, I walked through that door as Lily's real mother. Lily had lived with me for a full week, yet she cried every single night. She wept for Cassandra, for Nathan, and for the familiar life she had known for years, struggling hard to adapt to her new home. My parents came to visit on a Wednesday. Lily ran forward and threw herself into their arms the second she saw them.
I owe you an apology. I'm not asking you to respond. I just need you to hear it.
She sat across from me, pressing her hands tightly together in her lap. After the first year, we needed somewhere to put the grief. She gave us that.
Lily trusts you both. She talked about a garden, strawberries. That was the only time she stopped crying.
If you're willing to spend time with both of us together until she finds her footing, I think that would help her. And me.
Yes, whatever she needs.
Later that day, I visited Roman in the hospital. He sat up in bed with his laptop open in front of him.
Are you done with your revenge? Can I take it from here?
Yes. Take it from here. I finally let go of my painful past. 3 corridors away, inside a detention cell, someone held a phone to their ear and spoke coldly.
Get her to me once I'm clear.
Even after all her failures, Cassandra still believed she had one last move left to make. Roman appeared in my office doorway, walking with a slight limp, his cheeks faintly flushed. He asked me out for a meal.
Not the kind we usually have. More like a date. Wear whatever you like.
I teased him playfully all the way to the car. The restaurant was built on the rooftop of the tallest building in the city. The full moon hung bright in the night sky when he set down his fork and stood up. He walked around the table and dropped to one knee, holding an elegant diamond ring box. The ring inside was simple yet exquisitely crafted. His hands shook slightly, but his voice remained steady.
You argued with me from a hospital bed. You walked into a boardroom and put 12 men in their place before I arrived. You told yourself you were still in love with your ex and then kissed me back anyway.
I pressed my lips together to hold back a smile.
I have been in love with you longer than I'm going to admit right now. Please marry me. Not tonight, whenever you're ready, but I want you to know where I am going.
Get up. I took the ring out of the box and slipped it onto my own finger. Then I pulled him forward by his jacket lapel and kissed him. My phone lit up on the table beside us with a breaking news alert. Breaking: Nathiel Holt and Cassandra Holt confirmed dead. Prison transport incident under investigation. I lifted my gaze to meet Romans across the candlelit table.
They had arranged to run. Cassandra was going to take Lily. I eliminated the threat. I will not apologize for it.
I flipped the phone face down beside my untouched glass of wine. The diamond on my finger glistened under the moonlight. For the first time in 6 long years, I felt completely peaceful and whole.